Hello and welcome back. Episode 12. We are in Crystal Peak. I had some interesting issues with OBS today, so hopefully it will work fine. And today we're going to continue on our adventure through Crystal Peak to see what's next. So we did our smashy ground pound to get in here. We got our movement forward. And I learned about getting crushed, both emotionally and physically, video game physically. And I've also uploaded a couple shorts, and one of them got quite a bit of views. And I'm going to figure out now what my next adventure is going to be, vis-a-vis figuring out how to get some learning going on the internet. So I was discussing with one of my friends who runs a Chabad house on the campus. Chabad house is like home for Jewish students abroad, home on campus to have access to Jewish things, kosher food, learning, community events, just some family, basically extended family on campus, and discussing what kind of content would be meaningful. And he suggested making a lesson. So I'm going to come up with something. Nobody has said anything. I'm also not really sharing this with people because I'm so self-conscious. So I'm going to start with something in a short. But there was an idea, something that I was thinking about. That's not... Oops. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I was thinking about the idea of entitlement. Not entitlement. What was it this morning? Shoot, what is it? Advantage. And what was the thing? It's the thing that comes up a lot in politics and when somebody has an advantage, when somebody has a... Shoot, what was it? Oops. Jeez. Okay, whatever. I can't remember, and I'm distracting myself. What was the idea? Privilege. That was the word. Privilege. The idea of privilege is so interesting because it's so abstract, but I had a brilliant connection for video games that we could use to illustrate the idea of privilege. So I don't mean to say that somebody does or doesn't have privilege. That's not for me to say. I'm not trying to enter into the political debate. I have some thoughts about it, but who am I? I only can speak from my own life experience. But what I can say about privilege, I thought about the game Tunic. Tunic was the Fox one that I'd mentioned a couple of episodes ago that I couldn't remember what it was. So Tunic has this brilliant mechanic, done intentionally, the whole instruction manual thing. And basically, one of my good friends suggested that the instruction manual is done in such a way that's kind of like, your big brother or your friend that has some sort of leg up, has taken notes inside the instruction manual. So privilege is like somebody who has access to something like that instruction manual and all the information that's in it. So that would be a kind of privilege. So another way to tangibly experience and feel what that's like, what privilege would be imagining yourself as a second playthrough of Tunic. Or even this game. What would it be like to play a second playthrough of a game? You've already played through it, you know what's what, you know how everything works, you know where the mechanics are, you know where the save points are. Those kinds of things, to me, seem like privilege, having access to something that somebody else wouldn't necessarily have. So, a practical example of that, outside of video games might be like, financial knowledge, or, if somebody wants to be competitive in a sport, if they have an older sibling who's already proficient, or a family member that can teach them for free or give them access, that's privilege. Like straight up is privilege that somebody else doesn't have. And the kinds of things that we have outside of video games, they're tremendously powerful and intangible. So like financial stuff, if somebody has these things or certain kinds of techniques or skills or whatever because they inherited them from their families, that takes off, an emotional burden away from somebody. An emotional burden is incredibly powerful, something that we easily can take for granted. You know, one of the things that I know that I could easily take for granted is the amazing assistance that I get from my wife's family with our son. I don't know how we would function. Oops. Jeez. I don't know how we would function without them. And I don't know how people who don't have family around have kids. I don't know how they maintain their marriages. I don't know how they sleep at night. You know, like, so I mean, it's not quite that extreme. I don't know how they sleep at night, but I don't know how they do a lot of things. And, you know, so one side of this is gratitude to my extended family here, if they see this. Shopkeeper's key, interesting. But the other thing is that oops. Oh, wow. I want to, like, create a vocabulary that we can use to have this discussion. So when people talk about, you know, kinds of you know, people that come from more fortunate backgrounds, the level of intangibility, you know, how to study. Like, I learned how to study from my mom, who came from a family where, you know, there are lots of doctors in that family, and there's lots of people with university degrees, and that little bit of an extra leg up is like the tunic manual with the notes on the side. And okay, it's up to me to be able to take advantage of those things, but I have that vocabulary. Another way of you know, practically putting that into a game like this is that there's certain kinds of things, like I just got this key, knowing what to do with the equipment, or like knowing how to search for certain kinds of things. If someone says, "Oh, this game's a Metroidvania," that means something to someone that plays games. If somebody doesn't play games, then it's meaningless to them, one, and two, they can't capitalize on it, which then takes away a lot of opportunity that they might have to be able to advance quicker, more efficiently, and then end up further ahead. Even like basic things like vocabulary, accounting vocabulary, and all these things that are effectively technologies that we've developed. Not all technology needs to be material technologies, right? Technology could also be, you know, the language of accounting. If I know how to do accounting because I have a family member that taught me, then I have a big leg up over somebody that doesn't know how to do accounting. Oops. Oh my God, really? I'm gonna die here. I have a big leg up over somebody who doesn't know how to do accounting, and that tool becomes, you know, an aid to me, an enhancer to me, the same way that a shovel is an enhancer for somebody who's digging. But because it's not a physical tool, it's an intellectual tool, it's much harder to talk about. So how do we equip people with these intellectual tools, like money tools? And people that don't have a money tool versus having a money tool is like somebody that's being expected to dig a ditch with a shovel or without a shovel. So I think that's really powerful. I need to get through this part without dying. See? My head's somewhere else today. I have a certain amount of apprehension about fighting that pink crystal dude at the bench. I kind of want to just skip it, honestly. Anyway, that's my 2 cents worth on privilege. And I will use a similar kind of format, although probably in shorts, to talk about Torah topics. Because I think that's important. And I don't know which one I should do to start. Okay, so that is the big room that I can't double jump or some other technique in. I'm not so worried about money right now. That was bizarre. Should I try the crystal guy? Let's just do it. It will make my life so much easier if I'm able to do it. So what I need to do is I need to time myself and not get greedy. Because he's not actually that... Like that is an example of... Oops. That was jumping. I jumped. That's a really bizarre thing. I feel like something. What was going on there for me? Something about his timing. Something about my timing right now. My head is off. Whoa, how did I get hit there? It's getting a little faster here. I decided to just keep going and see what happens. In all likelihood, there won't be a bench for a little while. I think it's dumb that I keep going. This is now where I need to call on my... Ooh.
Goa, nu då är Mac.
Oh, no offense.
Nobis.
Overcome. Strong purpose has been printed on their husk. What have they been overcome by?
Manama to churo namen.
That's deep. Okay, is there anything else in here? No, and this was clearly made by the city people, though. It's the same. I doubt that I'm supposed to go up here. But yeah, I can't see the platforms. Maybe somebody that knew or had the time or the patience to go through it. Double jump. Oh, I still have to get my... Right. Yeah. Guess it makes sense to go do it. It'll also be good for my brain to get into a rhythm. The rhythm of a platforming enemy battle. Okay. So the thing that's killing me is his lasers. It's not even the random ones. It's his. I jumped! I super jumped! You can hear me mashing the button. I feel like I need to prove myself. That was annoying. I think maybe the moral of the story here is just like that other situation that was the old-fashioned way, was just to not get hit. I need to just not worry about that and use my soul to shoot him instead of worrying about healing. More aggressive. My head's like somewhere else right now. 1 second, my phone's ringing. Sure. It's not. How can I get to this guy and still have more health? I guess this is enough. Alright, take my time. Don't worry about healing. still, I jumped still. Oh, that was unfortunate. This guy's giving me as much trouble as that big boss was. The Soul Sanctum guy boss. If this really doesn't work, then I have no excuses to not trying to go back to the city and see if I can upgrade my nail again. Because if I recall last time, it literally doubled the damage that I did. And for situations like this where it's boss battles with hits like that, that will make all the difference in the world. Like, can cut down by a third, even quarter, the number of hits that I have to do. That's a huge deal. Totally worth it. Now I have full health. Ah, deep breaths. Take my time. I still got hit? Okay, this is just ridiculous. What? Oh, I walked into it. I think I'm going to take a few minutes and just breathe and not talk. I just tanked that at the end. So that's a privilege thing. Speaking of privilege, to be able to know that I have this skill or this thing that I can do called tanking, that I can tank something. Not everybody necessarily knows the limits or the bounds of the things that they could or couldn't do. And having the opportunity to know that is very powerful. Shouldn't be taken for granted. Okay. So what are some thresholds that I know that I can lean into? I know that I can get bailed out about certain kinds of things. I know that because I live in the United States, there's an emergency, I can just show up in a hospital. I know that I get certain kinds of help I was discussing before from family that is priceless and not everybody gets. So how can we increase the robustness of those security nets that we have for each other? Is there a thing over here? But not like in a negligent way. One of the big issues that comes up a lot is about taking care of people that don't take care of themselves. That's a really sensitive discussion, because what does that even mean? And what does it mean that people know to take care of themselves? Like, how many people do you know that when you look at them, and I don't mean in a critical way, I mean like open-heartedly, that you know that they could be taking better care of themselves, physically, financially, emotionally, self-care, you know, like we talk a lot about self-care in our extended family, where people could be doing a better job with self-care and they just are not. And why? And how much support should they be getting, knowing that and given that they're really neglecting their self-care? So where do you draw those lines and those thresholds? And I really don't know. And we also draw those lines differently with family than when it's not. When it's siblings, then when it's cousins, then when it's whatever, all these different kinds of, things. Okay, I like that. I don't know how I get into there. But we often don't do a very good job of addressing those issues in a balanced way. I need to get that thing and get out of there. Oh my god! It's just more money things. Okay. Whatever, I'll take it. I can't get over here, right? Something else. I get over there. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. This one goes down. Another one goes up. This is dangerous. Ooh. Okay. I like it. Okay, well, this is where we gotta go. It's a ruin. Maybe there's a boss here. What is that? So this place was used for mining. There's a caterpillar here. So this place was used for mining. For some reason, the people that are mining are still here. And they're still mining. Even though everything else seems to have gone for splat. There's some platforming right there. Nope. I suspect that I can dash right off of the wall. Yes, I can. There we go. I don't want to waste that in case I die again. Okay, so I can safely stand doing good. This one. Shoot. Oh no. No, no, it's doing so well. Okay. All good. All good. At least I know where I'm supposed to go now, and it's not so far. And I'm glad that I got the bench in the end. That was good for my ego. I'm at 32 minutes. Right into it. Okay, I'm going to stop this one right here, and I'm going to start right up again. End of episode 12. Thank you for watching, and I will be right back in 1 second. Okay, stop.